Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to be walking through how I cut up my quilt, and I've got another spot mapped out on my quilt to go ahead and cut it out and get it ready for a canvas. And I posted on Instagram about how it was kind of scary to cut that first one. And now that I've done the first one, I'm like, yeah, let's do some more. I want to cut up all of the quilt. They look so good once they're cut up. All right, we're ready to cut out some more of this quilt. I've already done some of the pieces. However, my camera wasn't far enough away and I couldn't get all of it in. So I'm going to go back to doing a couple of these smaller ones. And before I do that, I just want to show you one that I already cut out and just how great it looks now that it's its own small composition, and it allows you to focus on these smaller pieces and just really take in all of it instead of trying to look at the whole thing. So now we're going to cut out this one, and it is a 10, is it a 10 or is it an 8? Let's see. It is an 8-inch, and so we're going to need to cut out 8.5 inches square so that we have a 1/4 inch seam allowance on all the way around, so that I can sew a piece of fabric, which will be the side of the piece here. So let's pick out a spot that we like. And I like these transition pieces where we got some of the darker bits with the lighter bits. And so I'm just going to pick out a spot over here. And this ruler is really great. It has the 8.5 inch mark on it, so I can tell what I'm really looking at here. If I didn't have this ruler, then I could still use my 6-inch ruler, which most people have a 6-inch ruler. And all you'll need to do if you use the 6-inch is you'll just pick a starting place that you like, and you just have to make sure that you've got at least 8.5 inches across, which so I need to start somewhere over here-ish. And now I just need to make that first cut that I like. Okay, so now I've got that out of the way. And then the next 2 cuts are going to go perpendicular to that, and we just need to make sure that they're square with this side so that you end up having a square. So I'm just going to cut across the top here, line it up with a line on my ruler, make sure that it's perpendicular and square, and I'm going to cut that. There's a lot of seams with how dense this piecework is. Okay, so now I need to make some measurements, and I'm going to pop around to the other side to do those cuts. All right. So I'm also going to, with this method, I'm going to use the mat a little bit, even though most quilting instructors would tell you never to use your mat for cutting, but I'm gonna do it. It's fine. The world won't end. So, okay, so I know that based on my ruler and my mat, here is 8.5 inches. So I know that I need the halfway mark between those lines, which is going to be right there. I'm going to cut that. Okay, now we don't need the rest of the quilt. Hopefully it doesn't fall off. Stay there. Maybe. And then I'm going to make the last cut on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8.5. And if I wanted to, I really like this side better, so I'm going to trim it up on the other side. I'm going to do that there. now we have our 8.5-inch square piece, and it's going to fit perfectly on that once we add our fabric and then finish mounting it onto this piece of wood. And that is a really nice composition. Maybe we should do another one. I've got another one of these 8.5-inch boards. So let's pick out another spot that we like. And maybe right here, some of this darker piece, or I could wait and get a bigger canvas. This looks like it's already, I've already started cutting 8.5 there, so maybe we'll just cut another one. We're going to use this ruler this time instead, because it's, yeah, it's roughly 8.5. All right, we're going to finish cutting here, and then once I get a bigger canvas, I'll cut out in that area over there. So how far do I need to cut? Okay, just to there. And then I'm going to go around the other side to do that last cut. All right, and one final 8.5-inch cut here. All right, and another one done. Perfect. So once you make that first cut, it just gets easier and easier to cut through them. And now I'm going to mount them on these canvases. I got to add fabric all the way around, and I haven't used that method yet, so I need to work it out in my brain first, and I'll do one, and then I'll do a video where I do the whole process for sewing the fabric on and then mounting it onto the back.